Welcome back. The 4-year cycle is broken. At least that's what some people are saying about the 4-year Bitcoin halving cycle and where we are in 2025 in the market. Are we actually in a broken cycle, or are we just in a different cycle than previous years? Well, in today's video, I'm going to go through the psychology of the market cycle chart right here, which shows the different areas of where how you feel about the market at different times during a bull run and then entering a bear market. We're also going to kind of go through some tweets, and we're also going to give you guys a little bit of the other side of people who believe that the cycle isn't broken and that we are still going much, much, much higher. And I'm going to show you guys the charts and show you guys where we are compared to previous cycles in the chart. And this could kind of indicate to us whether the cycle is actually broken. And while you guys are at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. That way you never miss any of the new videos right here on the channel. And also give the video a free thumbs up. If you want to help support the channel, click the join button down below to learn more about becoming a channel member, or you can use the super chat down below in the comments. So this is the psychology of the market cycle chart. Now, before we go through all of this, I thought it would be interesting to kind of read through a tweet that was posted by this user, who is a crypto trader and angel investor, 580,000 followers. And he or they posted a long tweet thread. And that's where we kind of got to the tweet about this being a broken cycle. So I'm going to read through it. He said, now is the most divided timeline he's ever seen. Bulls believe this is the last dip before alt season, and bears think the bull run is already over. Now, I agree. We're already in basically March of 2025, and we had a very big gains in some cryptos during 2023 into 2024. Then it's been from basically November, December of 2024, a downward trajectory in pretty much all of the crypto markets. And it's not just crypto, it's macro markets as well have been dipping. And so he says right now it's hard to determine what stage of the cycle we're in. On one hand, we haven't seen a true alt season. Sorry, I just literally lost my place. Okay, here we go. He said, on one hand, we have not seen an alt season, though we did get a meme coin season, which is true. On the other hand, Bitcoin has already surpassed its previous all-time high by 1.5. Or you could look at it by only 1.5. And on top of that, the bull run has already lasted 12 months since the last all-time high, making it already longer than every past bull run. Think about that. Just in the first 12 months, we typically see the most movement in the markets between 12 and 18 months. But we've seen the last 12 months since the last all-time high, and this is the longest it's ever been. And so he suggests that basically the cycle is broken, making it really hard to figure out what's next. There are 3 possible scenarios in his opinion. One, the final dip. This is the final dip before alt season begins, which is the thrill section of this. Thrill is right here, right? The last kind of move to the upside. He says this is the beginning of the end, where we are in anxiety and we're opposite where thrill was, and we're in the downward slope. I'm going to pull this up a little bit bigger in just 1 second here. And then he says the third possibility is the cycle is already over and we're in the anger stage. And this is possible. I mean, guys, many cryptos outside of the top and outside of meme coins, they're down 40, 50%. I mean, Solana is down 50% from its all-time high. Ethereum, $4,000, I think was the local high. We're basically down 50%. And Bitcoin is still trending much higher than where most of the other cryptos are, right? And so most of these other coins, they didn't even get close to their last all-time record high. They may have moved 100%, 50%, 60% to the upside, but they're down. And, are we going to get another move to the upside? And this is where this chart really makes a lot of sense. Personally, I think we're in the thrill stage. Now, the fact that I think that we're in the thrill stage potentially means we're not. Because remember, what the market thinks is usually wrong. And so that's a very important kind of thing to keep in mind. Now, according to his tweet storm, he said we are currently between anger and depression, right? So you see that on the bottom over here where I'm circling. He said, or at the belief and thrill stage, which is over here, right before the top of the market. He said, while for many, this becomes the phase of exiting the market, for him, it's a phase of opportunities. Here is his thesis. And this is true. The big money, right? The big traders, from what I have seen, they are looking for exits. And this could mean that we're kind of in the second phase of the bull run because as people exit, there's still people coming in, and so the exits are able to be absorbed by the new money coming in and the people who are bullish on the market, while you may become bearish on the market. But that's the dynamic that I see. I see the traders want to exit, and everybody else wants the market to go higher. And so they're saying, no, the bull market hasn't even started. It hasn't even started. And it's like, no, it has started. We've already gone up from $18,000 low in Bitcoin all the way up to $110,000. Now, you may not have bought at $18,000, but that was the cycle low, right? You may have bought at $50,000 and you're like, no, we have to go 10x from here. That may not happen. And so this is very, very important to keep in mind. I actually saw a post from somebody on social media, and they said, this is when I should have sold my crypto. And they were buying, some expensive watch in November. And I watched, and they posted it, and I watched it, and I was like, yep, that's exactly that's the sign, right? When you are so confident that the market is going much, much higher, when you're already in the green and you haven't taken profits, that's usually an indication you need to take profits. Anyway, this user, I didn't pull up the whole tweet here because I'm not signed in here, and that's why I'm just reading it to you guys. But he said, I can't say that retail is fully trapped yet. And I think that bullish sentiment is still strong. So I don't see why market makers would make this dip the start of the bear market. Now you may say, well, how do market makers determine bull or bear market? Well, they're the market makers. So they can either make the market by pumping more liquidity into it, or don't make the market and pull the liquidity out, right? Either one of those has an effect on where the market prices go. So moving on with his tweet storm, he said, um, it is important to understand that the market maker's goal is to extract as much money from retail us as possible. He said to do that, the most likely scenario in his view is a slow decline over a month or more, just enough to make believers lose hope, but not enough for them to stop FOMOing back into alts later, right? And we're kind of seeing some movement of the money here. He said, that's why I'm slowly starting to build positions, since I believe there's still plenty of time and prices will likely go even lower. And then he talks about some of the key factors and all of that. But we're not going to go into all of the, it's like a 20 tweet thread. But yeah, this chart, if you look at where we were in previous cycles and where your mindset was, if you remember, a lot of these, this is accurate, right? Especially on the bear market side, because it doesn't matter how low the market drops, you're still going to be complacency. We just need to cool off. We're just taking a little bit of a dip. Anxiety. Why am I getting margin called? This dip is longer than expected. This is where I think that we could potentially be, right? Because there was a lot of leverage that was wiped out. I know I've seen posts of people and heard from people that they've lost everything, right? They've had all their money in the market, over leverage, and they lost it. And then the denial. My investments are with great companies. They will come back. We saw a lot of this during the last cycle with coins that literally weren't doing anything, didn't succeed in what they said they were going to succeed at. And so those things are important to understand. Like, you cannot marry the bags. It doesn't matter how much you love a specific coin or crypto, right? Most of crypto is gonna lose 80%, 90% of its value in a bear market. And so pulling profits, I don't believe is a bad thing. I mean, that's what the market is about, right? Anyway, and then panic. Shit, everyone is selling. I need to get out. And then capitulation. This is what I talk about a lot with capitulation, right? Capitulation is that moment in the market where you're like, wow, I need to sell my crypto. Oh, wow, we're not going back up. Oh, wow. That is capitulation. So typically, like, if I post a video, I remember last year, a lot of people were at, or 2023, I don't remember when, but people were asking, Cryptoviser, is this capitulation? Cryptoviser, is this capitulation? And I was like, no, if you have to ask if it's capitulation, it's not capitulation yet, right? Capitulation is like, okay, let's put it this way, right? Bitcoin is still at $84,000. Okay. If Bitcoin goes down to $20,000, yes, that's capitulation. Okay. If Ethereum goes to $500 or under $1,000, yes, that's capitulation. And people are going to say it can never happen. It won't happen. I don't know about that. I don't know about that because keep in mind, most of these cryptos during the 2020 cycle, they hit their they went lower than their lowest point ever. Okay, one of the coins I followed very extensively back then, it went all like lower than its ICO price before it did 100x, right? So you also have to keep in mind that these 100x, 1000x's that you hear about people, oh, I got a 50x in this crypto. They literally bought, they wait till the capitulation point and then they buy the capitulation and then they sell it on an uptrend. Because from the low to the that low that I'm telling you guys from 2020 cycle, most of these cryptos, they did at least a 50x, if not a 100x from that low number. But you may not have been at that low number, right? So the low number may have been 5 cents, but your dollar cost average may be 50 cents. So if we go to $5, the person who bought at 5 cents, they're at 100x, where you're only at a 10x. So that's important to keep in mind as well. That's why it's really important not to compare your portfolio to anybody else's ever, 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 right? It doesn't matter that Joe Schmo made 100x on this crypto. It doesn't matter that this person made this on this meme coin, right? I don't remember which cycle it was. I think it was last cycle when because it was Shiba Inu. When Shiba Inu was pumping to oblivion, people that I haven't heard it from in years were contacting me. Should I buy this coin? Should I buy this coin? Somebody even asked me to loan them money or to buy it for them and send it to them because they got shut out. They spent the max on their whatever service they were using. And I'm like, how much are you buying of Shiba Inu? Like, this is a meme coin. They're like, yeah, but everybody's talking about it. I'm like, by the time everybody is talking about it, you're already at the top, right? You're already at the thrill or euphoria stage because you have the people who are not investors investing and thinking they're investors. And so they want this. They want this to happen continually, the thrill and euphoria stage, not realizing once you're up here, the only direction after that is down, right? And so I don't think that we've reached full euphoria in the markets yet, even thrill in the market. I think we just passed the belief stage. Again, the fact that I'm saying this probably means that I'm completely wrong. We're probably on the other side of this and going in the downward trajectory, which we've theorized on this channel that there is the potential that we are already entering the bear market because I do agree with Cyclop here. This cycle is broken. This cycle is not like any other cycle that we've seen, which is a good thing in my view, because if we have the same cycle every time, we're never going to have that cycle again because then everybody knows about it. Everybody knows about the 4-year cycle. But let's kind of go back into the charting. This blue line is November, the beginning of November every year. I have this blue line every single year. And the reason I pull this up in every single year is because this date, for some reason, beginning of November, seems to always be the top of the market or the bottom of the market. Okay. Top of the market in 2021, bottom of the market in 2022, exactly when FTX collapsed in 2023. Like to the day, to the day. So I just use this kind of as a reference point. You could see November 2024, that began the Trump pump, right? So that's kind of why the blue lines are here. But if we zoom this out even further, what I think is going on right here is I think that we are at the beginning of 2020, this stage right here, which would put us a year ahead of this cycle. Meaning, if we continue on this trajectory here of what happened in 2020, that means likely we're going to see much higher highs next year in 2026. But most people who are analysts of the market, they don't believe that 2026 is going to continue to be a bull run. They believe 2026 is going to be the bear market because it's basically 18 months after the Bitcoin halving. I don't know what is going to actually occur because remember, we're in a much different regulatory environment. There may be legislation to give clarity to stablecoins, give clarity to cryptocurrencies, allow the US to continually buy Bitcoin on a daily basis. The buys may outpace what is being mined. All of these aspects could drive the price much, much, much higher into next year and the year after that and the year after that. And maybe this 4 year cycle that we know or think that we know is no, I mean, there'll probably be still some validity to it because of the Bitcoin halving and the readjustment. But the fact that we already have kind of moved straight to the upside since 2022. I mean, look at this. Since 2022, we have been going straight up, and 2022 was the bottom in November. So we're already 2 years into that. Is it over, or are we going to get a third year? I don't know. A 4 year cycle is 2 years up, 2 years down, 2 years up, 2 years down on average, right? But some may be extended, some may not. Last cycle, I remember in the beginning of 2021 when I called the bear market on this channel. People, Cryptoviser, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. We're not going lower. That's crazy. And basically, what happened? We ended up going into the depths of the bear market. And the reason people were saying no is because some YouTuber was telling people that we had an extended market. And I'm like, what is an extended market? They're like, oh, well, the market's extending into June. Well, June happened to be basically the macro bottom for the market down here, right? We continued to trend down until that November timeframe, but pretty much June was like the bottom. So, what does this look like here, right? 2021, it kind of looks like we're going down already. End of 2021 into 2022. Sorry, this is 2022, not 2021. So, it kind of looks like this section, we're either right here in this March to June timeframe, which is possible, or we're already in the end of 2021 into 2022, which means we're entering the bear market already. I do think that even if we follow what happened in 2021 and we're just going to uptrend from here until the end of the year, I do think that the euphoria that we're going to see and excitement and thrill at the top of the market is going to be so extreme. We're probably going to see MicroStrategy buying $10 billion in one shot at one point, right? I think that it's very risky. And so personally, I think that unless you can continue to feel more pain in the market, you have to anticipate that we are going to go lower, right? We may go higher, but anticipate that we could potentially go lower. But again, like I said in my previous videos, when the market was falling, even if we do have a broken cycle, this doesn't mean that we're not going higher. Standard Chartered, one of the major financial institutions in the United States, they still see Bitcoin hitting $500,000 despite the recent sell-off. And basically, their head of digital asset research at Standard Charter told CNBC that he believes Bitcoin will hit $200,000 this year, 2025, before climbing higher in future years. He said within the crypto ecosystem, what we need are financial players like Standard Chartered, like BlackRock, and the others that have ETFs now to really step in. He said, as the industry becomes more institutionalized, it should be safer. The increase in crypto adoption by institutions, coupled with regulatory clarity in the US, should lead to less volatility over time. That should add up to medium term topside potential, which for him, he says, is up to 200,000 this year and 500,000 before the president leaves office. He leaves in 2029, right? The election is going to be 2028. And then the president is 2029. 2028 is the next halving cycle. And so we already know that the Trump administration is very pro crypto. We know the Trump family is buying into crypto. I would imagine that he's probably going to make it his legacy that he was the first Bitcoin president. I mean, he's already said that, and that he's gonna make sure that he leaves, and it's gonna be much, much, much higher than when he took office, right? I mean, we've already heard him talk about it. The other catalyst we have to keep in mind is the Bitcoin miners are drawing power from the grid will face a reckoning in the next halving because energy prices continue to go higher. The mining capacity continues to need to increase, and because the difficulty is increasing and the rewards are decreasing, so they have to become more efficient. And so there's a lot of risks that lie ahead. That although the speculators and the retail like you and I may not be thinking about, the big money is thinking about it. And in my view, because the big money's thinking about it, they are preparing, right? How is Marathon Digital preparing for this potential reckoning? Well, they're buying sites and creating their basically buying up energy capacity and working with energy producers so that they can turn on machines. They're also looking to expand into AI and HPC. And this is going to be a potentially more profitable endeavor for them, especially in bear markets. And so there's a lot of complexity here that we have to keep in mind for understanding whether the market is broken, whether the cycle is broken or not. I think at the end of the day, as if you're investing for a long-term perspective and you're investing in the top, right, top cryptos with actual usage, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then in companies that are maybe, or ETFs that are a little bit safer ish and have a little bit more blend, maybe like a grayscale digital large cap fund, which has multiple cryptos, or a Bitcoin miner ETF. These kind of investments over the long term, if you really understand where the market is and where the market is going and what is being built for the future, this should be a no-brainer. But when you start getting into, well, I'm going to be a billionaire on meme coins, and I'm going to have the most meme coins, and these meme coins are going to go to the earth, the moon, and this celebrity coin is going to change the world. No, it's not. Like, no, it is not. And the fact that that is even the narrative that a coin can change the world. Bitcoin is the coin. And while it, yes, has changed the world, it's taken a very long time, right? And so I think that we have to take that into perspective as well. In my view, I do think that we have more upside potential. I say this very cautiously, but I do also, and I've said since I've come back from the break on the channel, is that I believe this next pump in the markets, and I don't know how high the pump will be, but I believe this next pump is the pump to exit. I'm not saying you can't trade after that, but I think that this pump is going to be the pump to exit into because this is going to be where the liquidity is coming from, and it's going to be a very easy market to get in and out of, at least when we're entering that kind of peak thrill and euphoria area. But once we dip after that, watch out below. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about these theories and about these concerns. Don't forget to give the video a free thumbs up. Do you think that we are, like, what stage of this chart do you think that we're at? Pause the chart. Let me know down below in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Thanks for watching. See you when I see you, and crypto on.